Then they said, please note. This is another one again. I'm like, in 2024. He said processing of verification application takes a minimum of 6 months. Whew. Somebody hold me, because why is verification taking 6 months? Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Chinaza. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. All right. So today we're going to be talking about the new NMCN verification scheme. This is very sad for the Nigerian nurses and midwives, especially the ones requiring verification both home and abroad. It's been so sad, and I want to explain what this new verification law means. A lot of people didn't understand what it meant. And I'm just going to do my best to explain to the best of my knowledge and to the best of the research that I have done since the release of this particular circular. All right. First of all, before we do that, I want to explain what Nursing and Midwifery Council is for those who are watching and don't understand what it means. So basically, Nursing and Midwifery Council is the national body for nurses in Nigeria. They are the licensing body, the regulatory body, the policy making body, the indexing body. Basically, they do everything that the Board of Nursing does. So basically, they look after the welfare for nurses, right? That is the job of the NMCN. That's the job of the council. Just the way we have, this can be likened to the Board of Nursing of Texas, of New Jersey, and the likes of them. So NMC UK, it's basically the same thing, all right? So without further ado, let's break down this particular circular. So this is a revised guideline for verification of certificates with the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. This is the new circular that was released, and this is what it says. Okay, the first one is that the applicants are to visit the website, which is license.nmcn.gov.ng, and log in to initiate a verification application by clicking on the verification application link. And about 2 months ago, they took it down without any explanation, any notice, nothing. We just couldn't find the verification link online anymore, and everybody has been asking questions. And until some of the influential nurses we have back home started sending some letters of query to see why this verification link was put down. We didn't hear anything back until we saw on their Twitter handle where they said they are working back or doing something so that they'll be able to bring it back up. And then on the 7th, we got this circular, which was also released via their Twitter handle as well. All right. And then many people started sharing it through the WhatsApp group. So that was how we got this information, which is sad in this 2024. So the second one is a non-refundable fee per application shall be made for verification of foreign bodies of nursing as specified on the portal. This shall cover the cost of courier services to the applicant institutions of training, place of work, and foreign body. You see this number 2? This is what it has always been, by the way. They have always taken money, and then they would take money, they would use the same money for the courier services and all that stuff. And if you ask me, this is why why somebody would apply for a verification and it would take up to a year, because the back and forth sending that would have been done electronically. I mean, we're in 2024. Come on, we're in 2024, and we have a lot of smart minds, a lot of bright people in Nigeria right now who can create up, and not just even that, there are already existing softwares where you can send secured messages, secured emails to this Board of Nursing, and then they get it back to you. Many people, there is a friend of mine who they sent a verification for the New York Board of Nursing, right? They sent a verification over to New York and they got it in the mail. The app mentioned that, like, the delivery app was like, oh, it's been delivered to the mail room. They showed her proof of delivery, right? Person who picked it up and signed it, but they didn't see it for about 4 or 5 months. And when they finally found, because she kept calling until she came to the US, that was when they were able to even listen to her conversation. And she said, see, they've sent this thing over a very long time ago. You should check again. And when they went to check their mail room, just like she said, and they found it opened. last year now, I've done a lot of transcript exchange, transcript evaluation, and a lot of things like that. Many schools right now no longer use the whole oh, they'll have to send it via DHL or via FedEx or via UPS to the foreign bodies. Many people now do online. The National Military Council in the UK, they do it online. If you want to get a National Military Council verification in the UK, number one, it is free. Number two, you get it within less than 24 to 48 business hours. That if it's delayed, it is 48 business hours. If it's even delayed, it's 24 hours. Some people get it in like 15 to 10 minutes. It is sent, like that's quick. It is sent. But now you're expecting us to pay money, and and then we are the ones going to cover for the courier services. We're also going to cover for place of work and board of nursing. Oh Lord Jesus. Now, I'm going to be comparing this with my own experience here in the US, having to verify my license from one state to another, okay? And having to verify my license from Nigeria to the US. So you see the difference. Hi there, I know you must be enjoying this video and getting so much value from it. Why don't you hit the subscription button, like this video, and comment on it. When you do this, YouTube pushes this video out so that more people could see it and more people could gain more values just like you were doing. So without further ado, let's jump right back into the video. Thank you. The UK, it is free. In the US, it is not free. I'm not going to lie. It is not free, okay? So there are some states in the US that came together and they made an application called Nurses, NURSYS. Yeah, they made this application called Nurses. You can look up your license number there. You can look up your name and other stuff from there. If you need to verify your license, that oh, I'm licensed in Maryland and I'm moving to New Jersey, all I need to do is to log into that app, pay for a verification, which is $30. That's $30, right? That is around 43,500, which is still cheaper than what they charge us right now in Nigeria. But that's by the way. So yeah, and they send it over that day. Like before the end of the day, you applied for that verification. The other state has gotten it immediately, right? Initially, verification cost about, I think it was less than 20K. Then around 2 years ago, around 2 to 3 years ago, in 2021, the fee was revised, right? They revised the fees and how much we are being paid. Yeah, in 2021, July 1st of 2021, they revised the fee and they increased it from that around 20K or thereabouts. I can't really remember the amount, but I think it's around 20K if I'm not mistaken. Then they revised the pay now, which started taking effect in October 1st of same 2021. And what they revised it to be was 66,800 per certificate. If you're going to verify per certificate. And then if you want the verification online for the UK own, it was 21,875 naira. That was what we were paying, right? Now there's a rumor. I'm not going to say that this is what it is, but there is a rumor that the current price is around 300,000 naira. Now, like I said, rumor. Okay, I don't know if it's true. I'm not sure if it's true, but if it is true, then that is just body, right? It is just broad daylight robbery. Okay, it's crazy because I don't know why you want to charge a nurse in Nigeria that amount of money. That's ridiculous. Number three is applicants must have a minimum of 2 years post-qualification experience from the date of issuance of permanent practicing license. Any application with provisional license shall be rejected outrightly. Provisional license. Most of the people who went to School of Nursing get their licenses once it's out. We don't get provisional license to practice. What we get to practice is a letter, I've forgotten what they call it, but a letter that we can give our employers that we've written the exams, we've taken the exams, we are waiting for our results to be out. Some people use that letter to find a job. I didn't, but a lot of people did. It was then my school was charging 1,000 naira for that letter, but I didn't use the letter, but a lot of people did use the letter to get a job before their license came out, right? And usually license started coming out earlier now than it used to be before. Okay, so basically, what you're trying to say is that from the date you got issued your permanent license, your first license, that you would have to the permanent license 2 years from then. 2 years from then, a minimum of 2 years from then before you apply for a verification. This doesn't make any sense to me, because I wrote an exam, I passed the exam, you licensed me, you gave me a certificate, and now you're expecting me to stay for 2 years since the issuance of the license before I leave the country or before I decide to advance my own nursing career. It doesn't just make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to not be emotional and just be logical, but really this particular clause doesn't make any sense, because you've written the exam, you went to the school, you've gone through the schooling process of 3, 4, 5 years, depending on where you went to. If you went to a school of nursing, it's 3 years. If you went to a college of nursing, it's 4 years. If you go for your BSN, it is what? 5 years. So 3 to 5 years, I have studied, you indexed me, and which is why we have indexing. We have indexing at the beginning of our nursing program to see that we are indexed into the nursing profession, right? And then we wrote these exams that you set, and we passed the same exam that you set. And you expect us to have 2 years, to stay 2 years before you verify the same license that you gave us after we passed the exam. Come on now, like for real. Be for real. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Number 4 is the one that is just blowing everybody's brain, including mine. The council shall request a letter of good standing from the chief executive officers of the applicant's place of work, and the last keyword, and the last nursing training institution attended, and responses on these shall be addressed directly to the registrar/CEO of the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Please note that the council shall not accept such letters through the applicant. We say we are not going to be emotional. We are going to look at it logically. Now let's come to a logical perspective. Let's say we agreed. Fine, we'll stay 2 years. For example, don't get me wrong. We'll stay 2 years and see, right? Now you expect me to take a letter for my CEO to send you a letter of good standing. Number 1, the CEO, if you're not going to lie, 99% of hospitals in Nigeria, the CEOs are doctors. Let's not lie. They are doctors. A nurse can open a hospital, yes. But a nurse cannot open a hospital on her own. Even here in the US, a nurse can have a practice, but they must be an MD. They must be a medical doctor, either on her payroll or on her call, or they own it together. So if you're saying that now that after you verified us, you gave us a license, you examined us and make sure that we are good fit to work in the nursing world. We came out to the world and we started working. Now you want the doctors to be the one to give us a letter of good standing, or our last institution. And if I may add, your experience has nothing to do with you being verified or obtaining a license. It shouldn't have anything with you being verified. Some people go ahead after nursing school and go to a hospital and do school nursing. They say, "Oh, I want to be a school nurse." Some people go ahead and say, "Oh, I want to be a clinic nurse." Not everybody works in the hospital. Some people go back to school. I know a couple of people who went back to teaching in schools. They went back as junior teachers in nursing schools, right? So you would not come now and say that we should meet these people, the CEOs, to give us a letter of good standing. And how many CEOs actually knows their nurses? I worked in St. Nicholas Hospital in Lagos for 2.5 years before I left Nigeria. And I can count on one finger, and I won't even complete the finger, how many times I saw my CEO. And I am not even sure my CEO knows who I am. I don't even know if he knows who I am. I saw the clinical director, But the CEO, the owner of the hospital, who should write these letters, I can count on this finger how many times I saw them. Yeah. If at all you say, okay, let's get a letter of good standing. Not I'm saying that I'm in support, but if at all we are even supposed to get a letter of good standing, it should be from our direct person. The person who has seen us work, the person who knows that we are working, the person who knows that, oh, this person does what she needs to be done, what needs to be done. This person does what is needed. This person does the right thing. Okay. So I don't just understand why they would put this for this particular column should be completely scraped out. I don't see the need for it, honestly. But let's move on. I'm beginning to get emotional. Number 5 is applicant must have an active practicing license with a minimum of 6 months to expiration date. That one is normal. It's normal. It's always been there and it just makes sense. Number 6, applicants must upload certificates of registration only. Notification of registration is not acceptable. Now, let me not lie. When I was doing my verification, yeah, I was told that notification was not allowed, that it was certifications that they use, your certificates. When I was in nursing school, the people who had graduated before me would get their certificates 3 years after graduation, right? But I graduated in 2018. I got mine in 2019. And my classmates, ours were released earlier, and which was great. That's not many council kind of like released it earlier and faster. So we got our license and our certificate the same time. At the same time, we got both of them at the same time. So that's good. And then if you want to go to Nursing and Midwifery Council to pick it up by yourself in Abuja, you can. Most schools allows you to. My school did allow many people to do that. People who wanted it like immediately, maybe because they wanted to go to school, they wanted to further their educations, I went to BSM programs, master's programs, and they needed their certificates. Most of them went directly. Some people wanted to go into other post-basic nursing, they needed their certificates. Most of them went directly to Nursing and Midwifery Council in Abuja to pick it up. So for most people, if this is you want to go pick it up by yourself, make sure you collect a letter from the school, because the school is supposed to write a letter. Your principal or your provost has to write a letter for you to go pick the your certificate up by yourself if you want to. Number 7 is the applicant shall receive prompt notice via his or her email and dashboard of the status of the verification application. That is what it should be. This is a normal thing that should be. I don't think why this should be in the revised, but whatever. Then they said, please note. They said, this is another one again. I'm like, in 2024. Okay. He said, processing of verification application takes a minimum of 6 months. Whew. Somebody hold me, because why is verification taking 6 months? Did you know that when you pay for CGFNS, it is valid for 1 year? So you have 1 year to get them all your documentations. So for example, you make sure that, all my documentations are correct and complete. Let me go ahead and pay for CGFNS, get the CGFNS form, and then pay for Nursing and Midwifery Council verification. I just know that 6 months, then I'll go and sleep for 6 months. Minimum. They didn't say maximum of 6 months. If they had said maximum of 6 months, that means anywhere within the first 6 months, you can get your license verified. Just like in the if you follow my channel, you see where I talked about the US process, right? Where I talked about how there are some stages. The normal time frame for some stages is a maximum of 11 weeks, meaning that anywhere within that first to 11th week, you can get it, right? I got mine in 3 weeks. Many people got theirs in 6 weeks. Some people, they had to stay to the 11th week, right? But now they are not telling us maximum. They're telling us the minimum time for them to process an application is 6 months. 6 months. To tell another body that, hello, Chinaza Samson is a registered nurse in Nigeria. 6 months. Then they said, all applicants shall ensure that complete requirements are met before initiating verification application, as incomplete documentation shall not be processed. I mean, this is a no-brainer. Make sure your documents are complete before you apply. That one is a no-brainer. For anything you apply in itself, your documentation has to be complete. Even here in the US, I started my endorsement process to Maryland from Texas from Nigeria, but it wasn't completed until I presented. They didn't do anything until when I came into the US. I uploaded my SSN, I did my criminal background check, and then within a week they gave me a temporary license, and then within 4 weeks they gave me my permanent license. Then they said the implementation of this guideline takes effect from 1st of March of 2024. All pending verification applications before this revised guideline will be proceeded accordingly. And then head of nursing institutions should take note and bring the content of this circular to their nurses. Thank you for your cooperation with the council in promoting and maintaining excellence in nursing education and practice in line with global. Oh, and practice in line with global best practices. Eh? But this is not in line with global. This thing you guys just released now is not in line with global best practices, because if you are trying to be, because Nigeria, I think Nigeria has gotten to the point where we should be on the same pedestal as most of these foreign countries when it comes to nursing. Because I've been in nursing, yeah, and I'll tell you this for free. There is no hospital I've gone, I have not seen Nigerian nurses. There is no height in nursing, in medicine, in the US that I have not seen Nigerian nurses. People who were trained in Nigeria and then came to the US as nurses. Let's say about 50% of people I've also seen are people who were who schooled here in the US. But I've seen a lot of nurses who came from Nigeria to the US, who came from the UK to the US, who came from the Middle East, right? That's Qatar, Dubai, to the US. I've seen a lot of nurses from Ireland, from New Zealand, from Australia to the US, right, as nurses. So all of them, their first initial training was in Nigeria. And these are people who are winning awards, Daisy Awards. They are winning nursing awards left, right, and center, right? And this is what the Nursing and Midwifery Council are doing. Why? I understand that if you want to reduce brain drain, there are systems. Do you know that in the Philippines, they literally train their nurses for the US? No offense, yeah, but that is what they do. Most of them have NCLEX training centers. Most of all these agencies, they go to the Philippines and they host interviews and they employ them directly. I have a co-worker who was one of my preceptors in the ICU. He is from the Philippines. He came into, I was asking him, how did you come in? He came in, I think in the early 90s, around 1999, 2000. That was when he came in. How did he come into the US? The hospital came to the Philippines. They did an open house. Many people came in, they applied, they picked the people that they wanted, they picked him as well, and they brought him to the US. Yeah. In 2017, 2016, Avant Healthcare came to Nigeria at Sheraton Hotel, and they did also an open house. That was the last time. I think Avant and Shearwaters, those are the two people that I knew that they came to Nigeria. They had people who come to Nigeria, and they employed most nurses, although their process took about 2 to 3 years basically for them to finally move to the US. But they employed them, they did all their CGFNS processes, they did every single thing, and then they brought them to the US, right? Then during Donald Trump's, when he was the president at the time, he banned Nigerian nurses to come to the US, and that was how most of these agencies stopped recruiting from Nigeria. Right? Then after the ban was lifted in 2021, in February of 2021, what happened was they now allowed nurses to come into the US. So most agencies now, there were barely few of them who would take Nigerian nurses from the scratch again. What people started doing was that they started taking Nigerian nurses from, if you have written the NCLEX, if you've written your IELTS, you've passed any of these international exams, then they will take you and file your papers immediately. And then they started recruiting from Nigerian nurses again, especially in that way. But most people still had other people on the ground, other agencies who still are taking people from the onset. Now, even in the US, before most of these agencies take you, most of them want you to work in a tertiary level hospital, a secondary level hospital, not a primary level hospital. They want you to work in a tertiary level hospital that they can verify. Secondly, most of them want you to work in a hospital that they know that this hospital is good. They already know you're licensed in Nigeria. So This is not even a US body that is saying, oh, all the Nigerian nurses you guys have given us, we don't like them, we don't want them anymore. We are saying we don't want them to come anymore. No, but rather it is originating from Nigeria. And I'm like, why? A lot of Nigerian nurses are here and they are doing amazing things. They are paving ways for other Nigerian nurses who are coming. They are paving massive ways for other Nigerian nurses who are coming, which is great. Which what is being done right now is there've been a lot of Twitter space since the 7th. There's been a lot of Twitter space, nurses discussing ideas, what to do and how to go about this. We are calling out for a nursing reform. People would say, oh, so I know some people are like, what concerns you? You're already in the US. It concerns me, oh. It concerns me because one, nursing in Nigeria was my home. In fact, it is my home. That is what produced me as a nurse, right? My family is still there. Most of my family members are nurses too. Some of my family members are nurses. My sisters are nurses as well. I have cousin sisters who are nurses. I also have a lot of people like invested in this. I have people who are watching me right now invested in this as well. And personally, for my own personal, they say, oh, you still doesn't affect you, your sister and your brother. Personally, now, like now, I wanted to get a New York license. I wanted to endorse my license in the New York State, so I just have a New York license in case of any opportunity that I might see in New York that would be beneficial to me. Right? I needed to do a verification. I need to do a fresh verification. And now with this whole thing, it doesn't. I don't even know who my CEO is here in the US. And you expect my CEO to write a letter of good standing. My CEO doesn't even know who I am. So you see how that it doesn't even make any sense. I want to encourage everybody who this process may or this new guideline may be affecting. Please don't lose your sleep over this. Keep going ahead with your plans gradually. If you are about to write the IELTS, I would say that you should hold on that for now because there's a lot of things right now and we need to clear this out because if we don't clear this out, it's going to really affect a lot of people. I have a lot of new grads, a lot of final year students reaching out to me, and I really want to encourage you, focus on your exam. Don't leave this our verification fight for the nurses who are finished, who have graduated. Okay, focus on your exams, get your license, focus on your exams. Do not focus on this. Okay, yeah, just focus on that and the sky is going to be your limit. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you. I really, really do appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll be back with more videos. I saw all your suggestions and I'm working on that to bring those videos out to you. Okay. Keep giving us give more suggestions, and we'll keep making more videos for you. All right. Thank you and God bless you. See you in the next video. Bye.